Hello, Zap from Rust Belt Gamers here, and today we're playing a very special game on Rare Replay, and that is RC Pro Am. What makes this game special, at least to me, is this was one of my first games that I played, and for a very long time it was my favorite game of all time. And this one and Duck Hunt were like the two games I would play all the time growing up. So it's great to just actually play this game again. And it's funny to say that one of the main reasons I got an Xbox One was to play this game again. Not the main reason or anything like that. I wouldn't spend like $300, $400 on an Xbox One just to play this game. But it definitely was one of the reasons that swayed me to get one. Along with the other rare games on here. Which I have most of them still, but I don't know. There's just something cool about seeing it, go to the next generation. Well, a little behind the scenes. This is actually my third take with this game. I had a few visual errors and slowdown problems with the other two attempts. So I'm not so blind playing this after, all these years. But I'll tell you, I picked up pretty fast. I lost a couple of the first races just trying to get used to the controls again. I don't remember if it was this slippery on the NES. I'm guessing it is because just how, the characters move around on the screen. But it is weird playing with the joystick. And I could probably play with the D-pad, but I don't know. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It's just like your placement on the controller feels weird when you switch down to the D-pad at least on the Xbox One. Actually, I had the same problem on the Wii U. It's like I can never get used to using the D-pad on it just because of how it's positioned. Like I always want to have my hands up higher because it fits the grooves better. But yeah, like I was saying, RC Pro Am was my favorite game for a good chunk of my childhood, and I played it up until my NES just wasn't working anymore. And I still have the cart for RC Pro Am. The last few times I tried playing it, it was kind of a hassle, and it never wanted to work properly for long. So, it just really brings a smile to my face actually playing this again. And I actually did play it a couple of months ago when I got the game in the system, and it still made me happy. And it's not easy. I have to say I was probably much better at this when I was a kid, but well, there we go. But well, we'll try this again because I love this game. So on to the next. Ooh, and I got a high score. I'm doing much better than Solar Jetman, Lunar Jetman for that matter. Yeah. ZAP. Unfortunately, you can't scroll up, so gotta go the long way. Hey, 6 is still on the board. I'll take it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool game when you get down to it. I mean, it's a racing game where you actually have weapons, which, when I think back, it wasn't super common. I know games like Spy Hunter, you could, you were chasing down cars, but it wasn't like necessarily a race. So it's pretty cool game, and this is before Mario Kart, so, and it does kind of have that feeling. It looks like I have like star power now, and just smash into cars. It's pretty cool, and the missiles are so much fun. It kind of reminds me of Diddy Kong Racing later on. I know Rare made that game too. I mean, even the missile icon on the bottom screen looks like the missiles from Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing is actually another game that I love a lot. It was one of the first games I got for Nintendo 64 when it came out. And I had a lot of hours with that too. I don't think it held up for me as much as this game did, but I still love playing both. And there's actually a sequel to this game, and it's on this this collection, so I'm gonna have to play that soon, and that one will be fun. But yeah, it takes a lot of getting used to. I mean, you slide around so easily. It's hard to like control where you are on the map on here. But I mean, even the computers are sliding around like crazy, so you can't feel too bad. So you gotta love that they give it to you. You don't even have to pass the finish line to beat the level, which kind of sucks and is kind of awesome at the same time. Because no one likes when you're like so far behind and you have to do that lonely lap to the finish line. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Now, one of the points in this game is you're trying to collect all the pieces of car parts like on the map. Like you'll see like tires and engine blocks and stuff like that, and when you collect them your car improves, and that's pretty much the only way to improve your car, at least in this game. And you know, there'll be weapons out there. The best are probably the missiles. I don't know if they have like some sort of homing like tendency or not, because I'm nailing people pretty good with them, so I don't know, maybe I'm just that good at aiming with it, but I don't know, I highly doubt that. But there's a lot of obstacles on the course. They do kind of mess you up pretty good, but you know, it's a pretty fast recovery. I mean, at least the computers have pretty fast recovery. You know how many times like you're like beating them really bad, and all of a sudden behind you they're right there again. So it's kind of hard, as you can see. Game over twice already. I think I could go one more time. My car's pretty powered up. I only got one more of each part to make my car maxed. You know, I think I should be dominating more, but that's not how a game goes. You gotta deal with those PCs, and they are relentless. Oh man, just killing everybody right now, especially the green car. You know, I always wanted to be the green car when I played this game as a kid, because green's my favorite color. So, but you know, the red car is always cool too. There's no real difference, but you know, for RC cars, they go pretty fast. 70 miles? Jeez. Did you just say 120? Jeez. I never had an RC car that went that fast. They usually went like pretty damn slow. But, you know, it is a video game. Alright, I'm doing pretty crappy this round. Man, this game really amps up pretty fast. Alright, let's see. Oh, also on the bottom, you see how it's saying champ? Well, there's pieces of the name scattered across the maps, and you want to collect them. I'm not really sure what they do. I'm gonna guess it's like an extra life or something like that. So, yeah. The game came out in '87. This was a year before I was born, so... You know, it's funny to think this game is slightly older than I am, and it still has a place in my heart after all these years. It's funny to think about. It's like, how many games do you hold this close to, like, you know, 20 years later? It's nice to actually just get to play a game like this. You know, as a kid, you know, most people said their favorite games were like Mario or Mario Brothers 3, something like that. Something typical. And, you know, I always liked those games, but I didn't get into them until I was much older. Because, you know, they were much more, like, kind of difficult, you know what I mean? Like, they took more, like, precision than this did. This was just, you know, you just turn with the course. And I think as a kid that was appealing because it was something you can learn pretty fast. And, you know, I really was into cars, especially like miniature cars. I had like a bunch of Matchbox cars and micro machines. I used to have my parties at the slot car derby. And if you don't know what a slot car derby is, it was the one I went to anyways. It was pretty much the size of a room. They had this track, kind of like those little toy cars you have on those little race tracks, and you have the controller and you just shoot them around the loops. But this was a giant one that took up like a whole room, and you know, you just race them. I mean, in retrospect, it seems kind of boring just doing that, but it was fun, and I had a lot of good years there. I don't think many of those are around anymore, unless you find like a specialty like car place. Sometimes they might have them there, but it's been a very long time since I've seen one of those. And I never really owned many RC cars as a kid. I mean, I had an RC from Toy Story that kind of worked all right. I think Burger King was giving them out back when Toy Story came out. And RC was actually my favorite character in that movie, growing up anyways. But that was because I just loved, like, toy cars and stuff like that. And I still have some sort of affinity towards them, but not as much as I did when I was a kid. So it's funny how much you change, through the years. Because, like, probably the only racing type games I play now are Mario Kart, if you want to count that, and F-Zero. I love F-Zero, but that game is pretty hard too. That new Fast Race Neo on the Wii U is also pretty good. It is very reminiscent to F-Zero. Maybe I'll play that sometime in the future. But man, that game is really hard. Me and my friends were trying to beat it, and we were just not doing pretty good. But hey, you got to practice if you want to get good at some of these games. But yeah, as a kid, I was always at the arcades playing games like Off-Road and Rush. Pretty much any game that had like a little driver's seat you could sit into and race in the game. That was always so much fun. And I remember as a kid, I would always flock to Off-Road, which was very much like this, but that was more top-down. And you'd have the wheel and you'd drive around. And on Super Nintendo, Super Off-Road, I always would rent that from Blockbuster, like, every weekend. I don't know, like, why I never bought it. And even now, as an adult, when I see it in, like, the local game store, I never buy it. I don't know why. Maybe I should just do it one of these days. I still have a Super Nintendo that works, so maybe down the road I'll play that on here too. And play all my favorite racing games. I mean, like, I could play Mario Kart and stuff. I have a Midway arcade collection that has a lot of those old arcade games, like Rush and... Oh, I can't remember some of the other ones. Maybe Cruisin'. But, yeah. There was also a game on Nintendo 64 that was really fun called Destruction Derby 64. That one I'm going to have to play on here. We would have hours of fun playing that. Just smashing cars and watching them blow up. That was always fun. I'm surprised Rare didn't make that game too. But, different time. But yeah, Rare is a very important company to me, and it's funny to think that all the way back then I was enjoying them, because I never realized this was a Rare game until probably 5 years ago, and that just kind of blew my mind. I was like, really? I mean, I've been loving Rare for that long, because back in the N64 days, I pretty much had the whole Rare collection, and me and my friends would just play those games for hours. I mean, in high school and middle school, we probably put hundreds of hours into Conker's Bad Fur Day and Perfect Dark, and Perfect Dark I still play to this day constantly. So it's funny to think that a company could have so much impact on you and your friends. Jeez, man, when you die, it is really hard to get back on the road. It just seems like they always put you in the wrong direction. But yeah, Rare has always been very special to me and my friends, so this game was a must-have, and it actually came with my Xbox One. One of the reasons I bought this particular one, I know the game isn't super expensive or anything, but I wanted to have a game that right off the bat I was going to enjoy and get a lot of hours with, so I'm already enjoying this collection so far. I can't wait to see what the rest has to offer me. Well, I don't know. Should I try it again? Maybe another time we'll play this again. There's still many more games to play on here. Well, this is Zap from Rust Belt Gamers, and I hope you guys had a great time. And I will see you on the next episode, hopefully very soon. Maybe we'll play some RC Pro-Am 2. I guess we will just have to wait and see. Good night.